Throughout my 22 years on this planet, I've learned that some people are huge fans of things that aren't really looked at or enjoyed by most people. For example, my favorite Nickelodeon cartoon from the 2000s is My Life as a Teenage Robot, and upon rediscovering it, I learned that most people haven't even seen, least of all, heard of the show. Like, how have you not seen this show? It's an absolute gem of a cartoon that was horribly mistreated by Nickelodeon. Why do people rarely, if ever, talk about this? And when it comes to Mario games, this statement shines. Pun intended. When you ask Nintendo fans what their favorite 3D Mario game is, you'll most likely hear them say Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Odyssey, the list goes on. But do you ever hear someone say Sunshine? Exactly. Hearing someone say Sunshine is their favorite Mario game is very rare, and after going back and 100%ing Sunshine for the first time, I can kinda see why. When you line up all the 3D Mario games, Sunshine is definitely the oddball of the bunch, but that doesn't mean it's bad per se, just different than your average Mario experience. But despite this, I still had a great experience with the game. Hell, Sunshine is still one of my favorite 3D Mario games to this day, and I feel that throughout Sunshine's life, not enough people look at it in a positive light. So that's why I made this video, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So with that said and done, here's why Super Mario Sunshine is Mario's weirdest gem. The story for Sunshine immediately stands out from the rest of the Mario games in the first few moments. Why? The characters talk. No other Mario game has frequent voice lines from the characters in cutscenes like this game does.
Bronze?
Yeah? Okay, fine. Few other Mario games have frequent voice lines from the characters in cutscenes. Peach, Toadsworth, a few Toads, Bowser Jr., even Bowser himself has a voice in this game. They didn't give Mario any actual voice lines since you're playing as him, and I think that was a good idea in the end, but enough about the voices, back to the story. The story starts off with Peach's plane flying to Isle Delfino, Mario and Toadsworth and company, and the screen in front of them shows us bits and pieces of the island the game is going to take place on. Mario falls in love with
succulent seafood.
Toadsworth is enjoying the thought of relaxing at the beach, while Peach notices a dark Mario-looking figure in the background. Peach tries to tell Mario and Toadsworth, but they're daydreaming too much to pay attention, so Peach just shakes her head in disappointment and doesn't pay too much mind to it. Upon the ever-so-hard landing to Delfino airstrip, we come across the first instance of this as Peach sees the shadowy figure again before it disappears. Also, Peach's earrings in these two cutscenes are the same texture as her eyes. You'll never see that cutscene the same again. After a couple seconds of quick gameplay, you come across Flood, your trusted companion in this entire game, and solely to this game, which I think is weird that they never mentioned Flood in the rest of the Mario games. Mario cleans the airstrip and is immediately arrested, and one of the best cutscenes in Mario history plays. In short, Mario is framed for something he didn't do and has to clean the entire island of this paint-like goop, and until Isle Delfino is completely free of his vile handiwork, Mario shall not be allowed to leave. After some talk with the local authorities, you clean up the goop in Delfino Plaza, and the Shadow Mario figure finally reveals itself, capturing Peach and trying to escape with her. Luckily, you stop him, and your first level is revealed, but after this, there's only a handful of cutscenes after the first 30 minutes of the game. More than half of the total time of cutscenes in this game happen in those 30 minutes, if you don't count the credits as a cutscene, which I don't. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Playing the game to learn more story is common, especially in Mario games, and it is better than just watching a bunch of cutscenes play everything without you really having to experience much. These few cutscenes explain enough for you to understand what is happening and let you put it all together in the gameplay, which I will get to later. Throughout the game, you learn more and more of what this Shadow Mario has done, and eventually Shadow Mario returns to capture Peach again, successfully this time, sticks his tongue out at you, that tongue could give any Licky Tongue a run for its money, and leaves for Peanut Park, and once you get to Peanut Park, the best cutscene in Sunshine takes place. Younger me only thought one thing when he saw this. Oh, After you defeat Mecha Bowser, Shadow Mario finally reveals himself. Spoilers, it's Bowser Jr. In this cutscene, you know why Jr. did what he did, disguising himself as Mario to get Mario thrown in jail so he could capture Mama Peach. And after all that, he Dr. Eggmans himself out of the battle and waits for you at Corona Mountain. Once you collect 50 shines and get there, Bowser Jr., Peach, and Big Ass Bowser are chilling in the Shine Sprite looking pool with some slime? I don't know, there's only a few ways that this could be water turned green, and I don't want to explain it to keep the mental images out of your heads. I thought of a few things while writing this script, both involving something nasty, and you'll thank me for not writing it in. After defeating Bowser and Bowser Jr., the pool is flipped and the Grand Star is revealed as we watch our heroes tragically fall to their deaths while Peach floats to the ground Mary Poppins-like. You just watched everyone die. Wait, this is a Mario game. Everybody will be fine.
Mario, was I,
Oh. Honestly, this was surprising to me the first time I saw this. Rarely do you actually see a Mario character die on screen. Sure, in the Super Mario Bros. Games, you drop Bowser in lava, but that was a bad guy. That was to be expected. It meant a lot more to see our companion go so sadly. Flood just wanted to be of assistance, like he said. Thankfully, after Bowser's talk with his son, Flood's fixed by the end of the cutscene and the credits roll. This story was actually pretty good in my opinion. Not too many cutscenes to fill up the game and not too barren on storyline either. It tells you what's happened from the get-go and you discover more and more along the way as you play. One of my favorite parts is when it's shown that the brush Bowser Jr. uses is also made by EGAD and Flood is so calm but mentally he's like, "What? He gave it to you? He just left me sitting on a blazing hot airstrip!" The oddest part to me is how big Bowser is in this game. Like, compared to Bowser in 64, he's huge. And then they just made him similar in size to the 64 from then on out. It's odd, but isn't bad per se. So overall, the story is pretty good, but a story is only one part of a game. Going back and playing Sunshine, I realized very quickly that this game played a little differently than other Mario games did, and I think it's mostly due to the power-ups. In 64, you had the Metal Cap, Wing Cap, and Vanish Cap. In Galaxy, you have many power-ups, too many to name off the top of my head, but in Sunshine, you don't get that. Instead, you only get 3 power-ups for Flood, but, unlike 64 and Galaxy, you do get to ride Yoshi. Of course, you can ride Yoshi in Galaxy too, but I'm just comparing Sunshine to the game before and after it to keep the video no longer than it already is. The only 3 power-ups you get is a rocket nozzle that shoots you into the air, a turbo nozzle that makes you go incredibly fast, and the default hover nozzle that keeps you in the air for several seconds while making you go a little bit higher as well, but that's it. No star power, no fire flower, no metal cap, no wing cap, none of it. The lack of power-ups definitely makes this game feel different than the other Mario games, but I understand why you get no power-ups for Mario. He's on vacation. He's out of his element in this game. Of course there's no power-ups in a place Mario rarely visits, if at all. Of course, there are 1-ups, but I don't consider that an actual power-up, just something to help you along the road in Mario games. Similar with the lack of power-ups, this game feels different partially with the characters it has too. Sure, you have a handful of Toads, known as the Toad Brigade. I didn't know the Toad Brigade was an actual thing until Galaxy, but I'll call it that. Toadsworth, Peach, Mario, Bowser, and Chain Chomp, but aside from that, you essentially have a brand new set of characters in this game. You have the Piantas, the Nokis, Chucksters, Glooper Bloopers. That's a weird name now that I say it. Petey Piranha and Bowser Jr. also make their debuts in this game, as well as Il Piantissimo. Like, why did they make him the way they did? He's a human disguised as a Pianta that's so full of himself he only cares about racing because that's probably the only thing he's good at, and he even insults you. He's a different character to say the least. But a different character in a different game definitely fits. And with the new addition of characters and the fact that we rarely see them after this game, it definitely adds on to the different feel Sunshine gives. Another reason why Sunshine feels different is the physics in it. Some parts of the game have different physics compared to others, especially in the secret courses. This big cube especially. Why can I walk up this big ass cube at such a steep angle, but some things I can't even walk on without sliding back down? It's a little odd, but nothing you can't get used to once you played Sunshine for a while. While the physics are something you can get used to, Sunshine definitely does lack in the level category. 64 had 15 main courses, Galaxy has 42, while Sunshine only has 8. Delfino Airstrip included. I would say 7, but the map does officially say Delfino Airstrip is a separate course, so I put 8. Half of 64 stages and less than a fifth of Galaxies. However, I will defend Sunshine with this by adding that even though there aren't as many courses, there are more things to collect. Oh, no, I will get to you later. Another thing I think Sunshine is best at with its courses is the sandbox playability. 64 and Galaxy definitely have some sandbox playability to it, but with 64, you rarely got anything new to the stages, and with Galaxy, you did get new things, but more often than not, some sections of the course would be inaccessible. With Sunshine, you had most of, if not the whole stage available from the get-go. Sure, some levels don't give you the flood power-ups, and most won't give them to you until some of the later sprites, but that gives you a reason to come back and just play around with the levels. And speaking of the levels, with the few you get, they're amazing. Bianco Hills is a great stage to get you used to the controls, and the first few Shine Sprites aren't the hardest thing to get. The hardest Shine Sprite definitely has to be the Secret of the Dirty Lake to me. I can't tell you how many lives I've lost on that stage, but even then, it's not one of the hardest levels in the game. Rico Harbor has the whole harbor field down, as well as a beat the clock stage in the sewers, I think? I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. The hardest sprite for this stage is easily Yoshi's Fruit Adventure. Anyone who's played this game knows why. I had no idea about the glitch until I watched speedrunning videos. Even then, I didn't know how to do it, so I had to do it normally. Gelato Beach has some of the best ocean visuals in Sunshine, and most of the level is very open like a beach. The hardest sprite, while the Sandbird is Born is a close second, it has to be the Watermelon Festival. There really is no way to easily beat this for a casual player. It requires skill, timing, and luck, and rarely will you ever get all three of them for this sprite. Peanut Park, while not feeling like it belongs in a vacation island game, separates itself from the game by being on an island, which I think was a good idea for Sunshine, and the stage is a blast to play on. However, I don't know why the visitors of the park are enjoying themselves while Electro Koopas are scattered throughout the stage, but that's not too big of a deal, I guess. Seeing the cannon visual before going to the stage never gets old, too. I also love the fact that in the Mecha Bowser fight, the owner of the park thinks it's a new show and is completely oblivious to what's happening. The hardest sprite in Peanut Park is no doubt the Secret of the Yoshi Go-Round. I don't have to explain why. Play it for yourself, you'll see. Serena Beach, or Serena Beach, I'm pretty sure it's Serena, but you never know. While the hotel is smaller than most stages and the outside doesn't offer much, it's still nice visual and level-wise. The different rooms you can explore in the attic at the top of the hotel is a nice touch too. The hardest sprite for this one is the Secret of Casino Delfino. King Boo down below is hard too, but this Shine takes it for me because of how hard it is just to get to the secret course. I despise these Shine Sprite panels with a burning passion, and the funny thing is, the secret stage isn't even that hard. It's getting to the course that makes it so hard. I can beat King Boo's stage twice before I even get to the secret course in the casino. I'm not joking. Noki Bay, to me, is the best stage in terms of exploration and discovering things, and Noki Depths is one of the best songs in the soundtrack. The hardest sprite to me, while none of them are actually that hard, is probably Eelymouth Dentist, but like Bianco Hills, there's not a hard Shine Sprite in this stage. Pianta Village is easily my favorite stage in the whole game. I did say Noki Bay was the best stage, not my favorite. And it even has my favorite Shine Sprite too. Chain Chomp's Bath. I can't tell you how many hours I spent just sandbox playing this level, acting like Chain Chomp was going to get Mario, so I'd make him a secret hiding place in this pile of boxes and bring him a barrel of water here in case he got thirsty. Am I the only one who did this as a kid? If so, I feel really stupid right now. Also, another reason why Chain Chomp's Bath is my favorite stage is because we got this wonderful piece of Bowsette artwork from it. Yes, I liked Bowsette, but only for the concept. That's not the only reason why you liked Bowsette Bronze. Yeah, believe what you want, I said my piece. The hardest sprite for this stage is easily Secret of the Village Underside. Timing and insane luck is what you need to beat this level, and oh god, is that last Pianta hard to get right. But with patience, you can get it. Out of all the stages in Sunshine, I don't have a least favorite stage. They're all good in their own right, but if I was forced to pick one, it'd have to be Delfino Airstrip, if you'd even call it a stage, but like I said, since it's separated from Delfino Plaza on the Shine Sprite total list, I consider it a separate stage. There's just not much to it, but with what it has, it's okay, and even with only 8 stages, you still have the hub world, which has 16 Shine Sprites to collect, which I will add that these are the most difficult sprites to get in the game. You all know which ones I'm talking about, I don't even have to say them. And even though there's only 8 stages in Sunshine, you get 10 sprites for each stage, 2 of which being secret, excluding Airstrip of course. Some are hinted at while others are up to you to find. I didn't include these when I considered which Shine Sprite was the hardest in each stage to get because these are secret ones, but I will tell you which Shine Sprite I think is the hardest to find. The one in Gelato Beach I think is the hardest one to find. How are you supposed to find this without a guide? There's no hints as to where it's at, and most people will spend hours looking for it before they either find a guide or come across it by accident. I know I found it by accident as a kid. I hate that sprite. But considering it only takes 50 sprites to beat the game, you can completely avoid the really hard ones while still being able to have the full story, and if you want to 100% the game, you can get all the sprites with enough time and effort. The remaining 24 Shine Sprites you get from one of the most time-consuming, level exploring, guide watching, worst part in the whole game of Sunshine. $240 blue coins. 240? What? 100 would have been fine. 150 would have been fine too. Hell, 200 would have been pushing it, but it would have been passable. But 240? If you're unfamiliar with this game, in Sunshine there's a raccoon in the hub world who will give you a shine sprite for every 10 blue coins you give him, and if you want to 100% this game, you're gonna need one thing. Determination. Some blue coins, pretty easy to get. The ones in plain sight aren't that hard. The ones that are a little hidden, not too bad. But it does take some effort to get to, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that some of them you'll end up scratching every crack and crevice of this island, and you still won't find them. And there's 240 of them. With 30 in most areas, you're going to get every single bit of your money's worth playing this game. I got just over half of them before I had to eventually find a guide for it. Some of these blue coins... Oh my god, some of these blue coins. I mean, sure, Odyssey has 880 moons, but that's the main point of the game, collecting moons. With the side collectible purple coins, there's 100 at most in every area, and most aren't nearly as hard to find like a lot of these blue coins are because most of the time, they're in groups of 3 or 4. With blue coins, there's most likely just 1 in one spot, with maybe 2 or 3 in a small area. You wouldn't believe where some of the blue coin placements are in this game. It's... Okay, I know Mario is a collectathon game, but when you get down to the last few blue coins in an area, it feels more like a chore than fun. Because when I looked up what the remaining 100 blue coins were, I lost the search and discover touch to it, because I wasn't searching for it anymore. I was having to go out of my way to look up where they were. They could have put 2 hidden sprites in Airstrip and the plaza, and you would have knocked it down to 200. Like, maybe you could also have a secret sprite that makes you touch 5 points in the underground sewers and spawn it above ground. I don't know, it's just a thought. So even though I love this game and will defend it, I do have to admit that 240 blue coins, that many for a side collectible, is way too much for a casual player, and even some hardcore players as well. But I'm not going to end this video on a bad note. I still want to talk about something, and oh man, do I have a lot to say about it positively. Sunshine's soundtrack. Words cannot do it justice. It's catchy, it's submersive, it's memorable, it fits the vacation aspect perfectly, and overall, like 64 and Galaxy, it's just a wonderful soundtrack to listen to. But I wouldn't say it's a perfect soundtrack. Some songs could be a hint better, like Bowser's theme. It's still good, just calmer than usual and not what I expected for the final boss theme. The only game I've ever played that I feel has a perfect soundtrack is Undertale, but that's a completely different topic for a completely different time, and even if this soundtrack isn't perfect, it's still got some of the best music on the GameCube, and in the entire Mario franchise. Isle Delfino, Rico Harbor, Noki Bay, Mecha Bowser, Delfino Airstrip, Pianta Village, the credits, boss battle, Noki Depths. That one immediately became one of my favorites once I fully listened to it. Hell, even though the character isn't too nice and essentially an asshole throughout the whole game, Il Piantissimo's song is catchy as well. But I think you all know which song is the best one and my personal favorite in the soundtrack. Yes! And since I'm on the topic of sounds, this game has some of my favorite voice lines from any Mario game. Who could forget such classic lines like... And my personal favorite... I want to meet the man who did these Pianta voice lines.
Bronze.
Yeah? Charles Martinet voiced the Piantas too? Charles Martinet, you are an international treasure and a blessing to the video game community. We do not deserve you. So even if you don't like Sunshine, one thing you have to admit is that the soundtrack and voice lines are wonderful in their own right. Now, I feel it's about time we wrap this whole thing up. So after 100%ing the game, watching the credits, and looking back at it as an adult, would I consider Sunshine to be a bad Mario game? Different, yes, but bad? Of course not. This game was popular when it came out, and it's still popular today. Sure, it's different than the other Mario games, but that's what makes Sunshine Sunshine. It's a different experience than your normal Mario game, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm glad I was finally able to 100% the game since my first GameCube copy of Sunshine wouldn't get past the Mecha Bowser fight without freezing. Then one day when I was younger, I traded it at GameStop for another copy of Sunshine, and that one wouldn't even get to the main menu without the disc messing up. Actually, that reminded me of something. A quick side story here. I think in 2011, I went to a locally owned movie/game rental store, and since they were locally owned, they didn't have readable codes on the discs and such to make you bring the right copy of the game back. I rented their copy of Sunshine, and I thought about switching their good copy out with my bad one since they wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but I knew people would rent this game and not be able to play it, so I sided with not swapping it. And do you know what? Less than a week later, that whole building burned to ashes. That is one of the few times in my life that my good-heartedness bit me right in my ass. But, hey, I didn't know it burned down, so it is a good story to tell, I guess. Why didn't I swap out that damn disc? But, yeah, going back and 100%ing Sunshine, I feel like this game, while different, is still worth the experience. Sure, you don't get much by 100%ing it aside from a nice postcard after the credits and an aneurysm from all those blue coins, but I still think it's worth beating and playing altogether, and that's why, until a more different game comes out, I believe that Super Mario Sunshine is Mario's weirdest gem.
Bronze.
Yeah?
You're forgetting something.
Piontissimo, are you kidding me? I knew there was more to you than racing, you son of a bitch!